this is very political, this next topic, but it has a bigger discussion about media as a whole. Did you see the story that the Paramount CEO was talking about how the company had to pay $16 million to settle for the 60-minute lawsuit with Donald Trump? Did you guys see this story?
No.
Okay. So there was an interview that 60 Minutes did with Donald Trump that was totally taken out of context. Things that were put in, and they would there's an old Simpsons clip where Homer is getting interviewed by Hard Copy of all things. I think it was Hard Copy or something. And as he's they're showing the clip from his interview, they take what he said and they totally distorted it. And you know that because in the background there's a clock, and the clock's time keeps changing in the background. It changes forward and backwards and everything. It's really brilliant, right? So this was like 30 years ago, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty funny. But we all kind of knew it happened. But now this story comes out, and so they were sued over this, and the Paramount CEO addressed the company's $16 million payment to Donald Trump to settle his 60-minute lawsuit. And he says, companies often settle litigation to avoid high and somewhat unpredictable cost of legal defense, as well as to avoid, quote, reputational damage. Settlement offers a negotiated resolution to allow companies to focus on their core objectives, right? So the idea here being that we just want to move on from it. It could cost us more than the $16 million by the time it's all said and done here. So for those who don't know, here is the 60-minute interview that was run here. And this is the 60-minute edited Leslie Stahl interview with Trump in 2020 to cut all the facts about Joe Biden and his dealings with Ukraine. So on the top, you have the original. On the bottom, you have the edited here. This is what he was sued over. We're not going to watch all 5.5 minutes of this. But before we get into this, did anybody have any doubts that this was a thing, that the media would shift interviews and narratives to fit an agenda?
Oh, absolutely not. It's expected at this point. That's why no one believes them anymore.
Phoenix was literally laughing out loud from that.
As someone who actually was behind the scenes of a lot of these things, it's not shocking at all. They would do it all the time. Very agenda driven. Yeah.
Hold on. Tell us more.
I can say that I used to work in the industry, both TV and film, and also have friends that work at some very big news organizations. It's not, as I said, it is kind of the status quo to make one side look not so great and another one to look phenomenal.
So let's go take a look at this real fast. And Phoenix, I think you were cutting in and out a little bit there, just as you were talking. Just heads up. So let's go take a listen and see kind of what was said here, because there's a bigger point of discussion here with this. But let's go and play this.
You would interview Joe Biden like you interview me. It would be so good. You know what?
You like this, I thought. I thought you
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. But when I watch him walk out of a store, he's in the midst of a scandal. His family is corrupt. Okay, he's corrupt. He's a corrupt politician. And he's walking with an ice cream.
Did you see how they just blatantly took that out of there? That's insane to me. Blabs, you're shaking your head.
It's wild. I've not seen this, so it's insane. I know all these things have been edited. We knew that already. There was that interview with Kamala Harris, and that was heavily edited to make her look intelligent, even though it really didn't. Anyway, but yeah, this is not surprising, but it's still very insane to see.
We're 20 seconds into this, and we're already shaking our head.
Fucking ice cream, huh?
Des, are you surprised by this at all?
Oh, no, not at all. This is why I think that so many people are turning to live streams of news stuff, because it's, you can't, I'm sure there is probably a way you could still, they'll figure it out to manipulate that system. But for now, that's why everyone's getting their news elsewhere.
I think there's definitely something to that. The idea of the live stream of conscious, to where nothing can be taken out. That's why podcasts were so important in this last election. You saw, when Trump went on Joe Rogan, there was nothing to edit out.
Right.
There it is. It's there. There's the conversation, right? When Bernie Sanders goes on Joe Rogan, there's nothing to edit out. There's the conversation. And that's what makes podcasts so valuable. And at its core, all podcasts are just conversations, right? But being able to take like this thought process of taking an interview and like editing it down, that's very like 20 years ago. It's obsolete at this point. Let's go and continue here and see how else this was edited here and why they settled for $16 million.
And the question the media asked him, what kind of ice cream, what flavor ice cream do you have? And he's in the midst of a scandal.
He's not.
And he's taking, of course he is,
No,
Leslie.
come on.
Of course he is.
You
See
know,
that?
we had the Senate
So you're like,
Gaslighting.
you're like big tech. You're protecting him. And everyone is, except for
Yeah, but
people.
you're taking something.
So everything he's saying right now is not included on here, right? And you're right, the gaslighting here. Blabs, you look pissed.
I mean, listen, I'm not pissed. That's just my resting face. But it's really,
I'm
really
just relaxing.
Yeah, man, I'm just watching. But no, it's insane that all this stuff does get removed. Absolutely.
Let's go and continue.
That was investigated
Leslie,
by a
let me ask
Republican
you.
committee.
You think it's okay for the mayor of Moscow's wife to give him millions and millions of dollars, $3.5
All this, once again, still edited out.
million, to give his family $3.5? Do you think it's okay for Hunter Biden to say that we're giving the big guy 10% of this massive amount of money they're taking in? Do you think it's okay for all of these horrible things that you've seen where they're getting hundreds of thousands and millions of
All still edited out.
dollars, where China gives them $1.5 billion to manage the family, $1.5 billion, and then he's supposed to negotiate? Let me tell you, it's the second biggest scandal. The biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign.
Okay, so you get the point here. You get the idea of what's happening and why they settled for $16 million here, which, goes on to that this is not the first time this has happened. There was a 60 Minutes interview here. This is the one you referenced here, Blabs, as well, for Kamala Harris.
60 Minutes just caught editing Kamala Harris's interview to make her answers look better. Just wait until you see the comparisons to the original.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
And here's the answer they want to show everyone else.
It seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
You are fake news.
Sir, her response to this question was posted 2 days ago. You can look it up on YouTube. It's under Kamala discusses U.S. relationships with Israel. So they took an answer from one of her other questions and switched it around to this one to make it look better.
So that's even more fucked up. The idea that you would she said something totally separate, not even addressing the question, and they literally snipped it in to create a narrative around here, right? Hence why this lawsuit was happening right here. It seems totally valid why you would need to be sued here. But for me, this brings like a much bigger question. How much of the news that you have absorbed from major moments in history, how much of that has been a lie? How much of that has been crafted to fit a narrative? Pick any major moment in your life. I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat here. Like, put on. How much has been edited and crafted? Think about that. I don't know. I open it up to you guys. Like, do you guys think about that when you see something like this? Because that's the first place my mind goes.
No, even like down to tiny things like Instagram ads. They'll say like, "Oh, this isn't edited like for like a makeup product or something," and it's like it looks like just flawless, beautiful skin. And it's like it was just this moisturizer, but like if you look closely, you can tell like that it was edited to jump. Like everything is so heavily edited these days. It's hard to really believe anything anymore on the internet.
Des?
Oh, I love the tinfoil hat.
Let's go,
I
Des. Let's go.
I entertain
Put
it
it on.
all.
Let's go.
Craig.
Let's go.
She's like, I got mine on right now. You just can't see it.
Let's go. Let's do it. Get
Are
get
you all
the
even
tinfoil hat
real?
on.
No, I don't believe a lot of stuff out there, but you know, it's hard. I think that's really the hard thing right now, living in this day and age, is what to believe and what not to believe. It's tough. I don't really have the right answer, but I think you have to just kind of keep doing your research and try and find the people that you trust, and you know, keep an open mind. But it's rough.
Is there a moment or an event in history that you all look at and you go like, I don't really know about that. Just you know, knowing what we know now about the just the sheer dishonesty. And once again, I want to remind you guys, we are on YouTube.
We're on Twitch too, so
Yeah, well, that's true. We are on
I
Twitch.
was gonna say I have a list, but
Yeah.
Well,
But
I
I
mean,
think
you know, the
a
whole
lot of
ahead,
people
Phoenix.
woke up around the sickness period. I think that we can all agree. So many
Yes.
people woke up.
A lot.
Yes. 2020
yeah.
was a big year for the awakening, if you will.
That's when like even children learn the term gaslighting. Like my kids know that word, gaslight. Like I didn't know that word when I was, 12 years old.
yeah,
But everyone
same.
knows that word now because it's become so common.
I would say
Yeah.
for me, like I can say this, it's fine, don't worry. But like it was probably like a year into Trump's first presidency because I didn't get political at all or anything. And I started noticing like, and this is from people that I personally knew on Facebook and stuff, just like posting all this weird stuff. And I'm like, how would this guy become president if all this stuff was true? It's getting a little crazy, like Photoshop pictures of him with certain people. And so I started to look into it. I'm like, this isn't true. Like, why don't you guys look into it? And I lost friends and some family doesn't like talk to me because of it, just for questioning things. And that's when I really woke up.
It's amazing to see. And yeah, like I have family members. I have tons of friends who want nothing to do. Well, I'd say former friends who want nothing to do with me because, like for me, the COVID was a big eye opener for me, right? Obviously. But, obviously everything going on right now with men and women and all that stuff. Like I've said this many, many times, my biggest crime is knowing what a man is, right? And knowing what a woman is. But it's not, it doesn't, listen, don't let the facts get in the way of your feelings over here, kids, and when you see what's going on with the news and settlements like this, where they say, look, we know we're going to lose more money if we actually go to this, because it's so blatantly obvious here that we've edited this and it was malicious. I just go down the line of every single major world event over the last 50 years. And I personally go in and like question every single one of them. Cause like, if they can edit it, that just a simple interview that is, leading up to the election, why would they not edit other things or change things or create a narrative around other things? I don't know. What about you guys, chat? What do you guys think?
I think that's also what's so scary, why people get so scared about AI too, and how that's going to factor into even more of the of all the gaslighting and lies that are going to be fed to us.
AI is I've said this many times, I think it's a great tool to use. I use AI on a day-to-day basis, ChatGPT or Grok or whatever it is. But yes, I think that's going to be one of the biggest issues with education moving ahead, is teaching kids how to think critically while still using AI as a tool, because it's not going away. They're going to use it. You saw that kid who graduated Stanford, and he had his ChatGPT, computer holding it up, and he's like, "This was my essay that I finished," and everyone's like, "Oh, you fucking asshole," didn't even write it. So.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm more worried about, I know that you can't avoid AI and there's a lot of useful tools, and I'm not arguing that, but just even like having scenes that didn't happen look so realistic, to, who knows, just be the spark of creating a war or something, it could get pretty wild. I think, I don't know. I don't think that's like that crazy of a line of thought to go down.
Well,
But
there we
I
go.
guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah, we've seen quite a bit when it comes to the news, and we know that it's happening. And if it's happened at CBS, if it happened at ABC and NBC and every other news outlet, any other major news outlet across the world, said question everything, as they say. Do you have common sense? You do? Oh, good. Well, you should probably watch this video here then.